Welcome back. I've got to plant some Seminole pumpkins right now. Not because this is the right time of year to plant Seminole pumpkins, but because I have some seeds that came in the mail which were germinating inside of their packet. So it's very important that they get planted. So I'm going to take this bed right here where I have some tomatoes and make myself a nice little mound to plant these seeds in before it is too late. I'm throwing in a generous helping of Steve's mix. Now normally I might not bother being so careful, but can you read that? Seminole pumpkin. I bought seeds from you 10 years ago and have kept the variety from cross-pollinating. This is from Heather. I had no idea that this variety still existed. Now, she sent them via the U.S. Postal Service, and as we know, the Postal Service has been having a heck of a year. And these got damp, and it took 2 weeks for them to get here, and they're starting to put out embryos. They're starting to put out roots and shoots. So, right in the ground, right now, and we hope for the best. I gotta find a spot to plant the rest. This variety of Seminole pumpkin is one I am not sure of the original pedigree, but they make a large fruit and they have a little bit paler skin and they're very hardy and good. And I lost the variety when I moved down to the Caribbean, and it had actually already degraded because it had gotten crossed with calabaza. And so I thought that this type was gone, and it was one of the best pumpkins, the best pumpkin, really not even one of the best, but it was the best pumpkin that we ever grew. Very good, very productive. I don't know if at this time of year these are going to live, but I have no choice. They must be planted. I don't even know if these seeds are going to live. Put the last few seeds here in this grocery row garden where the soil should be a little better. And this is a little shadier spot. I forgot to put the Steve's mix in first in the last one, so I sprinkled it over the top. So it doesn't matter that much. And I should probably pull this sweet potato out of here. You are less important. Heather, thank you very much for sending me these seeds. This was really a huge surprise. I hope you have a few left in case these don't live. You could see how moldy they got in the packet. Oh boy. 2 weeks in the mail. Let's hope for the best. Grow. This is a triangle hoe from Easy Digging that Greg sent to me to try out. Greg is the owner and he's a friend of mine. And he's gonna hate this, but this hoe is made for weeding and I'm gonna use it to do something else with. But first I'm going to sharpen it. These handles are also from Easy Digging. And Greg, being the engineer, told me I put the head on the fork hoe the wrong way. He said, "Great video, but you did that wrong." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, engineers, They know about torques and tensions and all that stuff. What I did wrong, this should have gone this way, and there should have been a lip sticking out. I didn't do that in the video. Okay, that's really tight. I'm just gonna stop there. When the whole world gets you down, when the whole world sends you a frown, just remember to go out to your shed. Just remember there's digging that you can do instead of getting down. Of getting down. There's a lot of beauty in a trench, a great big trench that you dug with your very own hands, with your sweat and the work of your hands. Hands, don't let them get you. Don't let them get you down. Down. No. Don't let them stop you. Don't ever let them stop you from ground. Yeah. Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop digging. These are the cassava cuttings that Heather also sent me, and as you can see, after riding in the mail for 2 weeks, they are growing. Actually growing quite well. So I'm gonna stick them right in this row. Now, like I was saying, this is not, the tool that I was using is not the appropriate tool for this. That's not what you're supposed to do with a pointed hoe like that. But we discovered when we were down in the Caribbean, when a local farmer was helping me plant yams, that the triangular hoe actually does a really nice job cutting into the ground and making yam banks, as they call them, making banks for the yams. And so it got misused. But you'll find when you get to the, you know, a non-first world situation, that tools get all kinds of unexpected purposes and uses that you have not seen before. You have no idea how many ways a 5-gallon bucket can get used, or a pointed hoe. You know, it's incredible. You use what you have, and you find new ways to use it. And we discovered that it actually worked quite well to make it, and it worked better than the digging hoe, the square-pointed digging hoe that he already had. So, hey, who am I to argue with that experience? I'm just going ahead and rolling with it. So maybe you could put an advertisement on the easydigging.com website, Greg. Tell them farmers in the Caribbean have discovered this tool is very useful for digging banks for yams and cassava. This cassava was planted about 2 months ago. You can see how big and tall and happy it is. It likes it hot, it likes the rain, it likes it humid, and it thrives. It's a great staple crop. It's just not ideally suited to this climate. So, I mean, we're zone 8 here, which is not the tropics. The top of this thing is going to freeze down when it comes to winter, And unless it's a short season producer, some of them could produce in less than 6 months. They could produce roots. Some of them take more like 9 to 12 months or even longer. If it is a short season producer, we'll probably get some roots out of it. If it's not, it'll freeze to the ground, but the roots will just keep beneath the surface. The whole top of it'll die, and then next year it'll put shoots up again, and then maybe by August, September of next year, we'll actually get roots off of it. It's sort of a 18 month to 2 year kind of an operation when you're growing it, even in Zone 9, North Florida. Unless you have, like I said, one of the short season types. And it's very hard to find good short season varieties, or even any varieties, common varieties, in the United States, because it's just not a common crop in the continental United States. But these guys will grow, and these canes will grow, and they'll get nice and tall. And when the wood on them hardens up, it gets really woody, I can cut those stems, and I can actually take the stems, put them in a box or a basket or a bag or something, and put them underneath some slightly damp straw or in some soil or whatever, and keep them all the way through the winter in kind of a cool place where they're not going to get frozen. And you could keep them, and then I would have planting material for the next year. So that's what I'm hoping, is to have enough planting material for next year. So the ones that I just planted, they're not going to give me any roots this year. Hopefully they grow big and strong, and they give me lots of planting material for next year, so I can hopefully start them as early as possible so they're ready and rolling at the very first part of the year. And if any of them actually manage to produce roots in a short period of time, that will be our variety. But I've bought varieties from multiple people, and I've been given them by multiple people, so now it's just a race. I don't even know what the names of the varieties are, but the one that does well here in Alabama, that'll be our Alabama Yucca, Alabama Cassava. It'll be exciting to see what happens. And you know, speaking of exciting, I should probably show you how that hoe works before we end this video for Greg, because Greg's an engineer. We should show how it actually works. All right, let's go do that. This hoe is actually made for scooching onions. This is an onion scoocher. So what you do is you pick your onions, and then you just use the hoe. See, this way you don't have to handle them with your hands so much. You just scooch them. And so the triangular blade is really nice for that. You can flip sides, like kind of direct it. You can hook the leaves around a little bit. Actually, if you're really good at onion scooching, you can even braid them with the end of this hoe. It's designed, see, with the three, it's like having 3 fingers, the 3 points on the triangle. And you know, there's a lot of engineering that goes into this sort of thing, but unfortunately people today just don't understand the old ways. You know, you ask somebody, okay, have you seen an onion scoocher? Seen an onion scoocher? And they're like, no. You know, what's that pointy thing? What's an onion scoocher? I mean, everybody knew that. Literally, like from the cradle, they were onion scooching. And I thought, you know, before we go, you just really got to see what this thing's for. Thanks for joining me today. I desperately hope that those Seminole pumpkins grow. Thank you, Heather. That was really, really thoughtful. I thought that variety was gone forever. I cannot believe, you know, after 10 years, I mean, it is such a great variety, and I thought it was lost forever. The last line of it that I knew was my sister-in-law, and she was growing it as recently as 2 years ago and then lost the variety. And I'm like, oh man, if these grow, we are going to duplicate them and make sure that they go all over the place, that everybody gets some, because it is the best Seminole pumpkins that we ever grew. And also thank you to Greg for sending this onion scoocher. I really appreciate it. It's going to get a lot of use, particularly when we're growing onions, but there's other things we can use it for too. And thank you all, good gardeners. Thank you, channel members. Thank you for watching and subscribing and hitting the thumbs up and hitting the bell and liking and commenting. Please tell me your own onion scooching stories in the comment section. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.
I went to see David did good. We listened to Portishead and drank spiced rum. He threw me off.
Hey, hon, come check out this soil. It's taken me all day to do.
Hi, hon. Wow, this soil is so rich.
I know, it's trying to be like me.
Oh my word. Is this a water apple tree?
Yeah, it's gonna go great in the soil.
Wow, it's really gonna take off here. What's in the soil anyways?
It's best you keep your business to yourself.
All right, I don't need no answers.